Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we are finally going to finish up the kitchen cabinets. So let's get working on that. The first thing I want to show you is that we had countertops installed professionally, and so let's watch them do that, and then I'll give you a walkthrough with how they turned out. Here they are. So it's been about a week and we have moved right back into the kitchen. So there was obviously a bunch of stuff on top of them, but we have the big 3x6 island in the middle that went right on top of kind of the end walls that I've made. You can see that we have the room over here underneath to tuck in stools. And then once again, we have the big U-shaped countertops that wrap all the way around the kitchen. So the cooktop, as it turned out, was damaged when I got it delivered. So I returned it to Home Depot. They gave me a refund. They wouldn't let me exchange it. So we had to buy a brand new one for more money than we paid for it the last time, but I guess they did give me a refund. So we do have the hole cut for the electric cooktop here. We are waiting for the new cooktop to arrive, which won't be until the end of September. But normal, just countertop space all the way over here. Here is the kitchen sink. Once again, it's full of stuff. You can see kind of just an undermount stainless sink. And we went ahead and put all of the hardware in while we were doing that. And then all of this, of course, is just open countertop space over here. We also got the same matching quartz countertop for the bathroom vanities. So here is the bathroom vanity installed in the guest bathroom here. And you can see we went with kind of a smaller undermount sink. And we went with the same size sink in both the guest and the master bathrooms in order to give us more counter space like you see here. This is the kind of hardware, the faucet and valves that we chose to go with it. I think they turned out really great. We're really happy with them. And we did finally kind of finish up all of the light fixtures and stuff in here. So that is the light fixture that we went with, and all that is kind of centered up over the vanity. And here is how they look in the master bathroom. So this is my vanity here. As it kind of turned out all finished, I damaged the drywall trying to move the mirror to make it match exactly where it needed to be with kind of the backsplashes there. But there is the countertop installed. And of course we have a mirror imaging one over on my wife's side. So what we are going to do today is we are going to kind of temporarily finish up the cabinets. So my wife wants to paint all of the lower cabinets kind of a gray-green color instead of the gray-blue that they are right now, and eventually paint the island a dark green color. We actually had a contractor lined up to kind of come out and scuff and spray all of these so you get a nice clean finish, but he had to cancel unexpectedly. So what we have decided to do is temporarily, I am just going to paint the island myself kind of a dark blue color and see how we like it and if it matches the rest of the kitchen. But we know that we may come back and repaint all of the lower cabinets a different color later. So what I'm going to get on is I need to sand all this down. I have some wood plugs down for this piece of trim along the floor here that I need to sand flush. I forgot to do that when I sanded these plugs flush. That's how they tie those posts in. I need to sand these posts down, sand all those plugs down. Everywhere that's this blue-gray color, I need to sand and scuff because it's a different type of paint than what we're going to use. I need to pull all the doors and drawers off, pull all the hardware off, like say sand and scuff all those. I will paint those out in the shop. and then we will get all that put back together. And while we're doing all that, we also want to hang hardware on the bathroom vanities. Before I get too far into the painting, I need to go ahead and install some outlets in the island. So here is the circuit, the power that we have running from the breaker box. I have the island on its own circuit breaker, and this is how I have the wire kind of just pulling up into the floor now. So we need to go ahead and cut some holes and mount some boxes in order to get some plugs in the sides. Okay, so as you can see, we got a couple of outlets added. There's my plug tester showing that this one is working as designed. The other one, which is where the power comes in from the breaker box, is a GFCI. It protects both outlets, so if I go ahead and trip that GFCI, you can see I lost power to this other outlet. So we are good here. It's time to start sanding and prepping for paint. Thought I'd go ahead and show this while I was filming a little blurb. So this is where the power comes up from the slab. This was the only buried electrical cable in the whole house. So the power comes up here. You can see it goes up to that box, and then it wraps around here through the top of the cabinet all the way over there to that other box. So not the perfect place, but I think it should be tucked up high enough out of the way that it won't interfere with the drawers in any way. I didn't put any clips along that back wall because the nails would poke through under the island. So I just have them on these side walls. So I needed to charge my phone for a little bit. So while y'all were charging, I did some work prepping for paint. So I have sanded down all of the bare wood with the 120 grit sandpaper. I used the same sandpaper and I scuffed up all of the painted from factory paint. So all of it's been kind of scuffed up and ready to accept some primer. You can see in some places I was able to kind of work it and level out two faces that were maybe offset a little bit. But so all of the face frames got scuffed up. All of the wood here got sanded. This backer plate under here all got scuffed up. The bottom wood all got sanded. My beautiful wife went and put a bead of caulk in all of the corners and the seams that will get covered in paint. And after that was done, everything got wiped down with some paint thinner, and it's about dry. So I am gonna tape it off and see if we can get some primer on it. So I got a coat of primer on everything and it turned out pretty good. The bare wood definitely took the primer a lot smoother, more even than the other stuff that was already painted, but it turned out pretty decent. So I think it'll get a good finish once I actually put some paint on it. Let's just see this side here. kind of the underside. So here is one coat down. We are pretty happy with the color. I like it quite a bit. Kind of show you over here from this side so you can see it from two angles. We went with kind of a dark blue, as you can obviously see. We also went with a flat finish to try and give it a little bit of contrast with the rest of the lower cabinets and to make it a little bit easier for me to roll on instead of spraying it like you normally would with cabinets. So it took me, I don't know, an hour and a bit to do the first coat. I definitely have one more, maybe two more left, so I am just gonna knock that out and I'll show you the finished product. So here it is painted. I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that we really like the color and we really like how the finish, the kind of the flat finished turned out. So that's just absolutely great. The bad news is everywhere that they siliconed the countertop to the cabinet, the primer and paint did not stick to the silicone. So this side is not good. This side is way worse, but it is on all four sides. So what I think we're gonna do is we are going to put some quarter round up on here. So I'm gonna buy some quarter round. I will paint it before I install it, and then I will go ahead and nail it up, and then I will just touch up the nail holes. But other than that, it turned out really, really good. We're really happy with how it turned out. I think the color is absolutely great. You can't really see that edge where the countertop is unless you're getting underneath the countertop, but it is bad enough that I will fix it because it will bother me. But let y'all take a look here at the front at the face frames. So I don't know if I mentioned it already. This is one of those videos that in real world time has stretched out over, oh geez, probably a couple months now. So I don't remember what the last thing I kind of filmed was, but when we painted these cabinets, we taped off around the floor and then up on the underside with the countertop, and when we pulled the tape up, it didn't leave as clean or straight a line as I had wanted. So we ended up putting some quarter round down. Well, it's not really quarter round, but it's essentially the same thing, just a little bit more complex of a profile. So here is how the quarter round turned out. I am pretty happy with it. I'm one of those guys that I've put my fair share of quarter round down, and I am generally unhappy with how it turns out. This is not perfect, but this is probably some of the best I've ever done. I'm actually really happy with those corners right there. I think they turned out really, really well. And then it wraps all the way around here along the inside where the stools tuck in on both sides, and then around to the other side. We also included quarter round up top around the edges there, and that also turned out pretty well. That was a little bit harder because I didn't have a nice clean corner to put the quarter round up in because there's a bunch of silicone back there. So I had to kind of trim that back corner off with the utility blade on all of those pieces to try and make it sit up a little tighter. But so all that, the quarter round is down. We did paint it before we put it down, but all of the nail holes need to be caulked, and then it'll have to be touched up and repainted. But that is something for another day. In fact, my wife says she'll do it tomorrow, but that will not be in this video. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. But before I sign off, I want to film kind of a quick little update here. So I filmed that last blurb. It's already been another couple weeks. So first of all, I have not been able to put out videos as frequently as I'd like to. If you haven't watched previous episodes, I recently retired from a job that I had that I've been working for the past 10 years. So for the past 10 years, I've been working rotational work in the oil field. So I'd work 14 days on, 14 days off. And I've recently started a new job, which is more like a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday type gig. And as you can imagine, when you don't have big blocks of time off, progress has slowed substantially on the house. So I apologize for not getting videos out frequently, but we do have some other things that have kind of happened in the same time that we've been working on the kitchen island. So the first one is we have carpets in the bedroom now. This is another thing that I hired carpet guys to come and install the carpet for me. I was at work when the carpet guys were here. My wife Kelly took off work and she did not film any footage. So I'll just go ahead and show you the finished product. So here we are going into the guest bedroom. As you can see, we have carpet all on the floors. You can no longer see any of the blue concrete finished floors that we didn't like. We went with kind of a medium pile pattern style carpet, and we're really happy with how it turned out. So here it is in the guest bedroom, and we go across the hall here, and we have the same carpet in the master bedroom. So we're really happy with it. This was a big step too, because now that carpet's down, I can really start going on trim. You can see that the carpet kind of stretches here into my closet anyways. And like we said, with carpet down, we can start working on trimming out the doors, which will be first, and then putting baseboard down. So speaking of trimming out the doors and baseboard, this just got delivered today. So this is all of the baseboard for the entire house and all of the wood to trim around the doors. So we are doing just a fairly simple baseboard trim, which is on bottom, and then we're just doing 1x4s for the trim around the doors. So not particularly excited to get going on this. When I see this is just a huge pile of tedious, but this is the next step. So I'm gonna start building some big kind of temporary sawhorses to try and get all these painted, because this is a lot of painting to get done, and hopefully start working on getting this installed. So this doesn't even include the crown molding. There is no crown molding here. This is just baseboard and door trim. And here behind me is a little bit of a teaser for some upcoming episodes that you may see in the future, but that's gonna do it for today's episode, so stay tuned and I'll catch you on the next one.